everyone! Welcome to Final Fantasy XIV Evercold Berlin Fanfest, or keynote I guess would be in this case. Just like with Anaheim, I'm gonna sit down and go through everything that we know about this event that was announced. Chat, this is very last minute. I didn't know that the Berlin Fanfest, this is how little I've been up to date in terms of Final Fantasy XIV news. I didn't even know the Fanfest was happening until I was told 2 hours ago by Maelstrom in our Discord. So I've gone through, made a PowerPoint. We're going to go through the intro cinematic again. We're going to go through some of the videos shown. And yeah, let's get started, shall we, with a nice little look into, well, the changes that have been made. Starting with the intro cinematic, as I mentioned before. Let's watch it, shall we? Now, I have already seen this. There are a few changes. Obviously, they've added the rest of the intro cinematic in this, but like the changes kind of happen later into the video, so we are just going to be watching what we've already seen, for the most part. In terms of how I feel about Evercold, I mean, I think 7.5 came up between the FanFest, and we thought we were going to get something. We got a little bit in terms of what this patch is going to be about, and now we know this what is at stake, basically, because if we do not find a way to unite the stars, every star is going to die, including ours, I think, which is going to happen anyway, even without Heidelin's doing, even though it was kind of her fault that this happened in the first place, you know? Silver linings and all that. But yeah, I mean, how do I feel about Evercold? I'm kind of indifferent for the most part, because I want some good story, some good shit to listen to and play. And I'm hoping that this world will have a good story alongside the overarching story, and isn't just going to be a pit stop before we go on to the rest of the main narrative. Because if the main narrative isn't interesting, then I'm not going to be interested in. Well, I'll hope that the narrative of the expansion will be good at the very least. We'll see.
Long ago,
there was a place called the Promised Land. Let's turn it a bit quiet.
Life prospered, but the world was rich in plenty. Majestic trees stood sentinel over land.
Why is the quality so bad? This is still a really cool effect. I love the flowing tapestry. And of course it is, like, you know, Norse themed, this expansion. Yeah, well, we know what this is now, because we saw this, we'll touch on this later, but that is a place in this patch. The music is, like, that kick at the beginning of the drum is so fucking good. I want you to hear it again, because I talked over it. Like the build up here is great. Token Man, he's so good. Every intro cinematic, no matter what, even if it isn't that interesting, has banger music. Oh look, it's Alphino and it's Stinion. The only two scions to be in Evercold. Nah, I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
Came the relentless ice.
I'm still kind of sad it's not Everfrost. I think Evercold does work, and it, you know, four letters, it has more symmetry in that regard. But I don't know, I feel like Everfrost is even cooler.
And all was lost. We had no choice but to flee to the skies.
So yeah, they fled out of the ice, and then this is the new part of the cinematic. We got this, lightning-esque character of their pink hair, or Sarah. I don't know what that little brush is. I don't know what's going on with the bird. This looks awesome. I'm less keen on the many countryside fields, but I do like the city-state here. This place is awesome as well. This is such a cool location. I love the fire. I love the almost steampunk vibe. Here's a new job. Tank Man with 2 dual shields, just like Vitalin. Kate Western returns. Reaper, I guess. I thought we haven't had the main character as a Reaper yet, so this is him in this, because we had him as a Viper in Dawn Trail. In Endwalker he was Paladin. So we're getting Reaper here, which is interesting to me, because it kind of goes against our more benevolent nature that we're going in as a dark, dark person. But yeah, that's it. That little bit there with the new city states, the two new areas. There's a new part. I don't know if Japan will add more to the cinematic.
But everything changed when they
Fire Nation attacked.
The traveler.
No
The one from the
wonder.
sky.
Aye. Though in those days, we knew them as Far Wanderer.
You're not Lone Wanderer, but I mean it makes sense because we're bringing our lads along with us too. But that's it. That's Evercold. That's how it looks so far. That's everything we know, mainly about the story so far. So, like I said, not a lot to unpack there. They're purposely keeping a lot of the story under wraps because of a lot of complaints from previous fanfests that they revealed too much and got people too hyped over what was going to be shown. And that kind of makes sense because, yeah, they kind of built up this idea that Dawn Trail was going to have this sudden twist and it was going to change everything, which it did, but also there was also like 5 hours of going through the Toluyalal crowning ceremony thing, or who's going to succeed in good old Jar Jar's place. So there was that aspect that people were less keen on. They just wanted to get to the overarching story, which I will say, I think Evercold has found a way to make the players more invested in the story of the world rather than what the story is going to tell as it goes along. And we'll get to that in a second. But first, let's go through some of the stuff. So, firstly, of course, let me turn the music back on. We have Bastion, the new tank. Now, there is a video for this. Let me see if I can get it up. We're going to keep the beautiful Final Fantasy music on in the background. 7 music. You're gonna find out why in a second. But yes, that is it. I think they go over the new realms first, and then they show it off. So here. So this is a new job. It's called Bastion. It's a tank lad. And as you can see, you attack with 2 shields. This is going to be a main tank. So there are not off-tank necessarily, but there's shield tanks and then there's the other ones who are not as focused on tanking. This is going to be a main tank where it's mainly, just like Paladin, it's going to be focused on keeping the party alive, healing them, having spells, that kind of thing. And as they say in the video itself, it has a very futuristic kind of techno vibe to it, very Garlean. I hope that the job quest for this is based around Vitalin and we get more surrounding him, because he was a kind of a cool character in Reborn, so I would love that. I would love if that's what we get. I think this is the second hub area, well not hub area, second location that they showed in the actual patch content, no, in the keynote. I'm losing my words right now, chat, because I've just rushed to get this video out. But that's that. Bastion, how do I feel? Well, I'm not a tank main, so I don't necessarily know. I won't be playing as Bastion in Evercold. I'll probably be playing as a new DPS class. If I even do that, I might just stay as Sage. We'll see. Either Sage or Dragoon. I'm going to be more inclined to want to do it in this because of the eye level sync change. Basically, when you level cap, which would be 110 in this case, you can then move the eye level from the one class that you have leveled up with the armor you get, and move that to all your other classes that you leveled up. So I'm going to be a lot more inclined to do current content with other jobs because of that. But that is good. I do enjoy that. But moving on, yeah, here we go. So the main information, it has evolved mode. If you want to know about evolved mode, talk all about that in the last FanFest video. They don't really reveal too much more. I think they'll reveal more later at the actual event. But basically, evolved mode is a new style of job progression. A lot less tech to deal with. A lot less button pressing you have to worry about. It just kind of flows a lot better for the actual combat flow. The main arm is called the Skiltborg? I think I'm saying that right. I'm not entirely sure, but the dual shields. That's going to be a lot of fun for designers. 2 massive weapons they're going to have to keep designing weapons for now. Starting level is 19 and starting location is Limsa Lominsa. So there you go, main tank. Unlike the off tanks, which are Gunbreaker, Dark Knight, and the Warrior. So we have new locations, chat. Naglfar, Realm Ship of Water. There are going to be 5 realm ships in the game. From what we have been told, I never called there's going to be 5 of them. I assume we'll have Realm Ship of Water, Wind, Earth, Fire, and I don't know what the 5th one, maybe like Dirt or Wood. It might be Dirt or Wood, you don't know. But I mentioned in the actual Discord that I'm getting big Xenoblade Chronicles 2 vibes from this. The main, the brief summary I can give you about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is it is a game where you are on giant titans that are floating around this kind of sky layer. You go between the main titans to progress. They are all the locations. Like how Xenoblade Chronicles 1, you were on 2 giant titans and you go between their kind of ligaments and their arms, their legs, their body. In Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you go through far smaller but flying titans, and it's actually a really cool idea for how that game is developed. So I wonder if they weren't all inspired by that for these realm ships. Maybe not. I do have some issues with this. First one, they said there's going to be 5 of them, so that's going to be 5 of the locations are all going to be airships, which means we're not going to have vistas. We're just going to have skyboxes. Now, I don't know if there are going to be things you can see in the distance, but my main issue with it stems from that kind of feeling of exploring this grand world. In Dawn Trail, they did this really well, where they had like the waterfalls in the background. You can go up there later on. The massive mountains in Ukapaka, not Tolilalau. I forget what that other area is called. Heritage Found, where you can see Solution 9, not Solution 9, the Everkeep in the background. The amount of scale you get in Dawn Trail was fantastic. And like one of my favorite moments in 14 was the first time you enter Juvenia Forelands and you see the Som Al in the background, the giant crystal, and you know you're going to be going there. This feels fantastic. Because these are going to be on isolated airships, the thing I am worried about is the world feeling small. Like it's going to feel... Now, if that's the angle they want to go with, where it feels isolating, then yeah, that makes sense. But like, my main point of concern is that it's going to make every area feel very similar, and that's going to add to the boredom of exploring each location, because you know you're going to be going to another realm ship later on in the story. They've already said that. And it makes it kind of obvious what the final area is going to be. Like, it's probably going to be down on the surface, and you're going to be going for like a Curthus, like, Forelands location, where it's going to be a giant, like, ice flat. We'll see. I don't know. But yes, Naglfar. We're going to talk about that for a bit. I am not a big fan, I will say. My least favourite areas in the games are ones with giant empty fields, and unfortunately Naglfar seems to be doing that. This has that beautiful citadel in the background made out of like weird birch wood, which again kind of leads into the Yggdrasil Norse vibes that Evercold is leaning into. I don't mind that. I know what they're going for here. I'm not like... Chat. They're going for a style here. I just don't like it. I don't like my areas to be big and empty because I don't want to explore them. My biggest criticism with some of the previous areas in the games is how empty they've been. For example, Shalone. What's the one from Endwalker called? Elpis. Like, Elbis is great in terms of the story implications. It is just giant floating islands that have barely anything in them, unfortunately. This here feels like English countryside in the top left picture. In fact, can I get the mouse out, the laser pointer? This here looks like English countryside. And I don't mind that, but I live in English countryside, so I don't want to see English countryside. The houses look cool. Oh shit. No, I don't want... No, stop. Stop. I wanted nice calm music. Fuck off. There we go. But yeah. I think, like, I talk about how much I love Shadowbringers. But I will concede I don't like a lot of the areas in that game. But it makes sense why the areas are so flat and lifeless, because it's desolated. The Sinators have destroyed the world. Like, I mean, Amarang kind of comes to mind in that regard. Lakeland is so beautiful. I still think Lakeland is one of the best areas in the game, and the game has struggled to catch Lakeland's beauty, I think. But yeah, big field, lots of water, makes sense. I'm just not a big fan of it. And there is a video we can have a look at that kind of goes into this place a bit more, if I could find it quickly. Yeah, there we go. I really would like it if it stopped putting Final Fantasy VII, the music, in the bottom left corner of my screen. That would be cool. But yeah, here you go. So I assume it's going to have this skybox for the whole game. And then when we get rid of the Evercold, if we do, it'll go away. Because if it's going to be blue the entire game, I'm not... It's going to be like Heritage Found Purple Lightning all over again. I'm just going to be like, stop showing the purple lightning, please. I don't care. But yeah, it's wintry. Weird enough, there is no like winter airship, but I guess we are going to be getting a lot of cold locations. It's fine. I'm not against it. I'm just not a big fan. Moving on. Fargath. I'm looking forward to saying these locations a lot. They're very good. Is the city-state. The city of Evercold. This is the Tolialal. This is the Crystarium. This is the Chalayan. It looks great. I really like how this place looks. It gives me massive Mordona vibes with, like, you kind of see in the video that they show that there is like an aura that surrounds this area. And I can get up here again for you guys to have a look. There's an aura that kind of surrounds it, like kind of like the purple aura that you see in Mordona. Looks beautiful. It feels like a mix of Mordona and Crystarium, like kind of blended together. I love the wood beams, like this is how everything's made of wood. The snakes are cool. The giant cannons. I can't wait to go to a city-state again where the people are just like, no, we got to defend ourselves. So yes, we are going to create giant cannons. Because we don't want to die. And I'm betting everyone is like fighting for resources up here as well, like trying to survive. And people want to take the countryside land from these people, probably. But yeah, no, beautiful area. I vastly prefer this to the actual area it's in. I think it looks great. And it just the amount of like noise in it works so well. And like that picture of the bottom right is beautiful. Like, there's one thing I can say, despite the area being, you know, flat, like Naglfar, what's it called? Naglfar being flat, it's still gorgeous to look at, and I can't wait to see the skybox in it. The music too. So, fun fact, by the way, in the actual keynote, Yoshi P mentions that they couldn't get the music done for Fargath in time, so Soken made an entire song in one evening, and it sounded beautiful. He put an entire song together for it, and it was gorgeous. So yeah, I mean, I want to go here. I want to chill out here. It's going to be freezing, but I'd love to go here. I'll wear my winter jacket. And that leads us to our next location, Ring Horny. Horny being great. I hope we get a lot of Horny Boulder memes about this place. This looks fantastic. I love the Fire Citadel vibe. Now, Would have this been cooler if it was an actual like flat location in the continent? Maybe, but it depends on how it's directed, right? Because again, at the end of the day, we're just seeing this stuff. We're seeing these locations, and the main feeling I'm getting from it is, oh, it's just going to feel kind of small. It depends on how it's directed and how it's shown, because it's still a massive location, but from a distance it's going to appear tiny. It depends on what they show in the actual skyboxes, or if all the areas are going to have the same like kind of Windows XP skybox as you can see here. But yeah, Ringhorny looks cool, and then they obviously showed some images for it here. We can actually show the video as well in a second once I get it up. Okay, here we go. I love the red trees. Like the spruce trees here are beautiful. Again, kind of feels empty and desolate, which I don't know if that's a vibe they're going for, but I mean, we're gonna meet these people. Are they gonna be evil? We see in the cinematic that we're fighting creatures on them, so is this where the robots come from? Or do they each have their own robots to use to fight each other? The gears are great. Like this, I love this like industrial vibe it has. I feel like we haven't really gotten this. Like we could have had it in Garlemald, but we never really got to explore there. These like chimneys are also really cool. I can't wait to go here. Again, big Xenoblade vibes in this. The industrial, but mine's a lot of the colonies actually from Xenoblade 1 and 3. But yeah, look at that. Oh, I love how it lights up in the night. I hope we can fall into the lava and take damage. Because one of the things that they mentioned in the last keynote, I'm pretty sure, is there's going to be no barriers, no invisible walls here like there were in, well, there's going to be like invisible walls around the actual floating islands, but there's going to be no invisible walls in the area itself. So you can go into that lava. I hope we can go on there and take damage and die. That would be great. I hope we can fall off the airships and we like take damage from it. That would be great as well. Like it like forces you to go back onto the platform afterwards. You can't really do that in Elpis or any of the floating island locations in Heavensward. And I think that's also an area where I'm kind of worried, because like, as much as I loved Heavensward, Sea of Clouds is the most boring area possible. But the difference is these are like ships. They're like massive continents basically, instead of them just being like, you know, smaller. So I guess it gives the devs a lot more to do. Instead of having to worry about a sandbox and how it blends in with the background, they can each have their own unique identity surrounding them, I guess. We'll see. We'll see how it's handled. I'm not like, you know, I'm not going to hold it against them. Oh, that sunrise is beautiful. But yeah, that is how Ringhorny looks. I love that name. I can't wait for that to become a meme. So, they mentioned something after this that I think is going to be very controversial. It's always going to be, chat. Something like this being introduced. So, they talk about the addition of... sorry, I just realised it's a little bit off screen, the actual top left. Main scenario, field, and game systems. They have updated how you can go through the MSQ content. In the past, I think ever since Heavensward, you've always had it kind of mapped like this. You go into your first area, either a city, state, or a location, you reach the city, and then you choose two branching paths to do the half MSQ of the next two locations. You then go back to those locations later to finish off their MSQ, and then you have the rest of the story. It's very linear. In this, they're changing that. You go through area 1 and then the city, and then you choose 3 locations to complete. They are done. And then you've got the final two locations with E and F. That is going to make people unhappy, because that is going to imply that the story in these locations is going to have little crossover, and you're going to be spending half the game doing the story with little crossover. But I'm going to say something now. Dawn Trail's biggest problem was its pacing. In Dawn Trail, you spend half the game doing something that the people playing do not want to do. They want to see where the story is going, rather than where the story is. People didn't care about the succession race because it wasn't interesting enough. The story was cool, fine, but at that point in the game, people wanted to see what was going on with this strange purple technology. The Golden City, what is that? They only cared about the destination. This is how you rectify that. You make it so the player is forced to enjoy the story before continuing on. This isn't the devs being like, we're trying to diversify player experience so that they can choose where they go first. They're doing it so that the player is forced to engage with the narrative and enjoy the world of Evercold before we get the eventual overarching story. Right? In Shadowbringers, they do a fantastic thing of letting you breathe in the first. You go to Calusia. You go to Calusia. You go see the city there and how it's being, taken over by Vorfrey and everyone's living in decadence. You go to Amarang and see the effect of the Sin Eaters. And only after you deal with them and Lakeland does Emixelk enter the story. And then the story takes a turn and it becomes all about him and where we go with the Asians and Hydaelyn and Zodiac. It all blends together beautifully. But then there are instances where the story slows down, like with the trolley problem, or when you go back to Calusia to go fight Vorfrey. In those instances, the player doesn't care about that because they want to see Emixelk again, or see what happens when they defeat the Sin Eater, because they will progress the story that they're more interested in. And in this case, they're making it so you get a vast amount of Evercold before you go and do the other part of the story. You can get engaged with this, enjoy it, enjoy the world of the Fourth, so that we can have that and then feel sad when bad things start happening to it later in the narrative. The level sync stuff is cool. The dungeons being able to do them out of order is cool. But what I'm more happy about and impressed by, the devs actually took a swing and were like, no, you're going to do this story, you're going to enjoy it. The benefit to this too is the fact that it's not going to just be the succession race. It's not just going to be one narrative that kind of has loose threads in between as you go between the locations. In Evercold, these stories will be isolated. You will get to experience them individually, and then they'll converge, and then things will happen with them. Giving you time to understand these people, build relationships with them. It's forcing you to engage with that so that you have to do it. And that's great. I think that's fantastic. People are going to hate this. I like it. I think it's a great idea. Depends on how it's executed, though, of course. We'll see how it's executed. But I'm glad that they're taking the swing here. I think that is a great idea. And I'm glad that they also were like, yeah, no, you can do this. I'm guessing this also means the trial is going to be later on than level 73, right? Because by this point, this will be like level 76. So either the trial is going to be after Area A, or it's going to be after these three. I guess we'll see, right? Maybe one of these three will have the trial in it. But yeah, that's what I'm so excited for. I mentioned this in the Discord, but it's changing how the game is done. You can't predict what's going to happen now because they're doing this. It's great. Fantastic. I love it. But let's move on to the next thing. A couple of little gameplay tweaks and stuff, appearance stuff. So, obviously they're updating how the armor system works. They're changing the UI in the game as well for the actual screen, which I don't mind because I think it actually needs an update. Being able to change hair, eye color, and skin. I don't know what it means by color picker. Does that mean you're going to get an RGB grid where we can just change it however we want? Because that's great if that's the case. I want to make Bahada's eyes really unique if that's the case. Have his own hex color. Yeah, improvement customization of eyes and lips, addition of eyeshadow. They go into great detail about that. I don't really care. Like, it's very minor for me and my cat boy. Face paint layering is also cool. And then the big thing is obviously toggling gear pieces, but also this character action skins. They're going to change the animations of certain kind of central gameplay effects. So teleportation is one of the big ones they're going to be doing. You can choose the animation for it. I think there's going to be a lot more than just Type A and Type B. There's going to be quite a few. And then also later on in the patch content for 8.0, they're going to add battle animations that you can change. Or I'm assuming the end of dungeon animation that always happens. This is great. They're doing so much with Evercold in terms of the systems, just the enjoyability of it. This is the stuff I'm actually excited for, I think. Like, the story I'm now more interested in because of the progression angle, but we'll see. That is great. I'm enjoying all of this. Is there anything else? Yes, so, briefly touch upon this. Again, I'm not a Savage player. I might do this because it is extreme content, but there's going to be new difficulty for the raid content, and it's going to be similar to extremes in terms of difficulty. Basically, the idea is people don't do the Savages enough, and they want people to play the harder content, so they're adding a new difficulty that will hopefully allow players who think Savage is too hard actually give it a go. I don't know if I'm going to do this. It depends on how difficult it is, but if it's this extreme level, maybe I'll give it a crack. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have time chat, because the thing is, Overhaul comes out in January, and then Final Fantasy VII Revelations comes out, then Persona 4 Reload comes out. There's not Reload, what's it called? Revival comes out. There's so much coming out in the early parts of next year, I'm not going to have time for this. So, unfortunately, we're not going to get around to it probably. But yeah, no, cool new difficulty stuff. I like that. And then, yes, this is something that I don't know if I'm going to engage with, but I know people do use their Chocobo a lot. I haven't used my Chocobo, I think, at all. I don't think my boy has shown up in the MSQ at all, or in any of the recordings. But yes, Chocobo Champion Overhaul. You can go dungeoneering with Chocobo now. They're going to completely overhaul the system with them. This is going to be great for people who love their Chocobos. Maybe I'll give it a crack if it's cool and I have time. We'll see. Again, my time is going to be very limited in January. I'll try and do this stuff, but yes, there is new content with this. That is cool. They're changing a lot of the RAM pawn systems finally. Tomestones are changing. This is changing. How jobs play is changing. Armor, everything. Great. Fantastic. And then finally, this is probably the thing I was a little bit disappointed by. So someone in our community called Hellscythe made the argument in the first keynote in Anaheim that the Evangelion stuff was a problem in 14. And it mainly stems from the idea that this is not new content within the world, not exploring an aspect of the Fourth or some aspect of Eorzea or Aetherus. We're just spending time in a whole new different reality doing content that is a lot easier to make because it's just advertising, basically. Like Evangelion is advertising for the new Evangelion show. This is advertising for Final Fantasy VII Revelations. And I have to agree. Unfortunately, I have to agree, because while I am interested in this, I have played 7 to death. I have played Rebirth, which is over 100 hours. Remake, which is 40 hours. I played the original game. I played not Ever Crisis, what's it called? Crisis Core. I played Dirge of Cerberus, and now I'm going to be playing Revelations after this too. It's too much, 7. It's too much. I don't know what's going to be in it. Is Cloud going to show up? Where are we going to be going? Is it going to be like 11, where it's kind of almost a clash between realities? Because I don't think they handled that very well, and they're going to be handling this in the same way. I mean, I guess the benefit is we'll finally get some 7 content in 14. It feels like the one game they haven't really touched. I mean, not really though, because, I mean, there is Scorpion Sentinel, and the Guardians kind of feel very Shinra-esque. But yeah, I don't know how I feel. I'll probably enjoy it, but I'll probably have this bitter feeling in my mouth that I know it's literally just here to advertise Revelations. And then what about when it finishes? Like, when Revelations comes out, are we going to get, like, new content in 14? Is it going to bridge our way to something new for that? I have no idea. But this is why I've got the 7 Rebirth music on, because, yeah, this is coming out, and it kind of feels like 14 is losing its identity by just, you know, using popular IPs with raid content. No, we don't want this. We want the Arcadium. We want the 12. We want, like, you can have one or the other. I was fine with Evangelion because it was one. You make both of them like extra content, and I'm just like, why? We could have explored the 4th, expand on the storyline, do some cool stuff. Now the 4th is going to feel less significant because we're going to spend less time there in the side content. What would have been awesome if we had, like, I don't know, some kind of, like, I don't know what they would do with it, but I'm not entirely too happy with this decision. But that's it. So yeah, briefly go over it again. 7 raid, Chocobo companion, new difficulty for Evercold, raid difficulty. I assume this is just normal raids. Yeah, I mean, Alliance don't have to because improved character creation options and then also character action skins. MSQ Progression, this is the thing I'm most looking forward to, surprisingly. I don't know why. Ringhorn, Orni, Fargath, Naglfar. I'm gonna butcher these names. The new tank, the Bastion, and then the intro trailer. I think I'm more looking forward now to the story they're gonna tell in the 4th than the overarching narrative. And then obviously the gameplay improvements are also things I'm looking forward to. I'm curious to see what they do with my boy Dragoon and how they handle that. But this episode has gone on longer than it was meant to. The last episode was 24 minutes. This is 35. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you all for 7.55 on the 8th of September. And then we'll have the final keynote. And then, yeah, Evercold will be a full playthrough in January. Expect a recording shift in how I did that. With Dawnshire, I made them hour parts. I'm not going to be doing that here. I don't want to, like, set myself up for excitement with it. I'm just going to get through as much as I can. I might even do it, like, get through the whole area, done, and then call it there for the episode, so I can just make it, like, all one part. We'll see. But, that is it. I'll see you all soon, chat. This has been me, FFVII. Ciao for now. Goodbye.